When do you think it's a good idea to host a B2B corporate event, right? Like when should a company be considering hosting their own event?
I mean, depending on scale, I definitely think you need to build up that list first. The last thing you want to do is host an event and nobody attends, right? So
Yeah.
you have to make sure your leads are very substantial. Or it could be if you're thinking 100 people only. I'm thinking like 1,000, 3,000 people. So perhaps you want to start at 100 first. Like I remember in the past when we produced our signature event, we started with 200 people. And then from there, it went to 1,000, 2,000. Right. So it doesn't necessarily always have to start big, but it's very important that you have, if you want to have 200 people show up, you should have a list of 1,000 because not everybody will come.
What do you think about in terms of like, large scale corporate events versus like smaller, more intimate corporate events? Because I think the smaller, more intimate corporate event is coming on strong here in the last year or two. I hear it more and more as a discussion, more and more as a strategy. What are your thoughts on the difference of the two and basically when to go small, intimate, when to go large at 500 plus, 1,000 plus?
I would say it really depends on the program, but I do agree there are a lot more what we call micro events that are done really well, like more
Yeah.
quality because the people that are there, when you go to a conference for 1,000 people, you're not going to meet all 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
Right. So, but when you go to a micro event, maybe only 100 people, the chances like you probably will meet each one of them a lot more and build better, more extensive connectivity. So your programming is very important, how you want to kind of curate that experience. I would say it's definitely for the deeper relationship that you want to establish. So that is a good point. Like when you're thinking of what is the purpose, right, of this event? Is it for mass communication or is it really to cultivate a smaller group of relationship and go from there? Then that will help you dictate the size of your event, what is more appropriate.
What do you think about outcomes, right? I mean, you've planned a lot of corporate events, you've strategized them, you've executed them, you've worked in and out of them. What are some outcomes that companies are seeking when they plan and run their own corporate events? What are some examples?
You know what? We talked about this last time too, when we are prepping for this call. I think the intentionality is so important
Yeah.
and begin with the end in mind. I think
Mhm.
that is such a great approach. You have to be clear about what the KPIs are from the beginning, because that's how you can curate the program really strategically versus just, okay, it's going to be a big event, a small event. No, what do you want to accomplish? Right. So a lot of time people have, like recently, one of the financial institute, they curated 100 people event, but these are like high net worth folks. And
Yeah.
it's just, I mean, they're billionaires. That just put the threshold. Okay. That's literally the threshold. You have to be a billionaire. Otherwise, you're not even invited. But this financial institute brought on speakers that really speak to these billionaires, like their pain points and what it is that they're interested in. And of course, their ultimate goal is to convert more of these people into their clients. They had a mix that was already their client, but they also say, okay, Matthew, you're billionaire. Please bring another billionaire friend, right? So that's how they're trying to grow their customer base. So they're very intentional about what it is that they want the event to accomplish.
What's funny is doing so many of these podcasts and talking everything from trade shows to brand activations to more of like the meeting planning side to intimate events to big corporate events. They're all so similar-ish in the sense of like every smart person I talk to, every experienced person I talk to it's saying, hey, like who is the audience? Who is the customer? And everything has to be tailored to them. And I think, and I don't know if you think this too, one of the traps that I have seen people, customers, clients, corporate people get into is kind of doing what they think it not is cool, but like what they think would work or what they would want to do versus really factoring who are these people. So you're talking high net worth billionaires. It's an example. What value can you bring to them? Right? Like, because a good experience probably not going to bring all that much value because they're used to doing and having everything in the world. Right? So it's truly understanding that audience and delivering value to them that they are going to find valuable and walk away from like, God, that was helpful. Like, man, that was really good. Needed that.
Yeah, they actually brought in a mental health expert actually a
Mhm.
Harvard, his PhD, you
Yep.
name it. He's got all the credentials, but apparently billion, I mean, a lot of times when you get to that level, and then some of these are family owned money, right? They're
Yeah.
fighting internally within the family. So that's why like that mental health expert was so important. And that turned out to be actually one of their favorite sessions.